Hi, and welcome back to the Designer Home Comfort YouTube channel. Today's video, we're going to go over the best recliners for people over 6 foot. Okay, recliner number one is the Stressless Admiral. And if you've watched our videos before, you know that the Admiral is one of our better selling recliners. Very attractive price point on the Admiral. And as a taller individual, you're not going to find another recliner under $2,000 with an adjustable headrest. Most of the other adjustable headrest recliners like the Magic are going to be in the mid 3,000s and above. So the Admiral is a very attractive chair for anyone over 6 foot that is looking to stay under that $2,000 budget. This one right here is on a classic base. This one's on a signature. This guy right here is a large, and this one over here is a medium. Now for larger individuals, taller individuals, typically we're going to recommend the large. Now for something like the Admiral, which has an adjustable headrest, like this, you'll notice that there is not a whole lot of height difference between these two sizes, and that's because of the adjustable headrest. The other things to consider, not just your height, but also your seat depth right here, going from the front to the back here, is going to affect how that feels in your lower back. So if you have a chair that is too shallow, it's not deep enough, and doesn't support underneath your leg, what you'll find is that's going to put some pressure on your lumbar area and is not going to be a very comfortable seat for you in the long run. So not just your height, but also the seat depth and of course seat width as well. If you're a broader shoulder person, you want to make sure that your elbows and your arm rest comfortably on the armrest. So I'm going to go ahead and have a seat here in the Admiral. Okay, so right now I'm sitting in the Stressless Admiral Large. This one is on a classic base. I have the headrest pulled up all the way, which I really don't need. So when we size you for a stressless recliner, what we're generally looking for is that the headrest comes to about the middle or top of your ears, depending on where the head support is for that recliner and some subjective comfort preferences that you may have. Another thing to look for is in the seat depth. You want to make sure that the seat comes to about the back of your calves, although you don't want it to be so deep that you can't get your feet on the floor. You want to be able to comfortably make a 90-degree angle with your legs without having a massive space right here. A little bit of space isn't a huge problem, and being able to plant your feet firmly on the ground. Last thing is the seat width. So when we talk about width, we're talking about from this side to this side, arm to arm. And you want to be able to comfortably set your elbows and forearms on the armrest. If you feel more comfortable putting your arms in your lap like this, the chair is too wide for you because you want to be able to use your armrest. If you feel like you're being scrunched in or you're trying to make yourself smaller in the chair, then obviously we need to go up a size. That chair is not wide enough for you. And generally when we talk about width, we're talking about shoulder width, from shoulder to shoulder, because that's where your arms are going to come down from. Some of it may be dictated by the length of your arm as well, but generally it's going to be your shoulders that dictate the width of the recliner. The nice thing about these stressless recliners is that they all have an ottoman, so no matter how long your legs are, outside of the length of your thigh area, your ability to place the ottoman anywhere is what makes the stressless recliner very unique. The next chair is the Admiral as well, so I just wanted to show you guys an example that even though this is a medium and the one next to me is a large, if you're a taller individual and not necessarily the widest frame, then maybe a medium with an adjustable headrest would be the route to go. So if you're 6'2" and weigh 100 and 50 pounds and you're very narrow in your frame, then maybe the medium Admiral is a better option. You're still getting a very high headrest, so this is still way above my ears. So it accommodates me and maybe even people that are taller. And the armrests are a little bit closer, and the seat depth, if you look from the side profile here, I'm still able to make that 90-degree angle with a little bit of space right here. So actually, the medium is not a bad option for me in terms of seat depth. Now when we get to the width of it, I might be a bit wide for the medium. So as personal preference goes, I would probably go with the large. The reason why I think it's a little bit too narrow is because I do feel my shoulders kind of scrunching in order to meet those armrests. I think ideally I'd like to be somewhere out here. That way the weight of my arms is not being constantly held up by my shoulders. So I am kind of holding myself on the outside of these armrests here. So I'd probably go with the large for myself. A lot of these things can be subjective. So the best option, if you're unsure of whether to go with a medium or a large, is to actually go out and try the chair. Chair number 2 is the Stressless Reno. The one that we have featured here is a medium on a classic base. The Reno is unique because the back spills over into the arms, providing a little bit more padding around the elbow area. It is one of our more plush recliners, so it has a lot of loose fiber filling pad over the cold molded foam, which a lot of stressless recliners are going to be on the firmer side, a little bit more supportive. However, the Reno, while it's still very supportive, has a little bit more additional padding that can make it more comfortable for people who prefer a plusher seat. As with all the recliners in this video, we're looking at the recliner suitable for people about 6 foot and higher. So the Reno does have an adjustable headrest, just like the Admiral that we just saw did. So we can raise this up to accommodate people that are a little bit taller. Now I can't give an exact height that a chair can accommodate because everyone's proportions are a little bit different. Okay, so I'm about 6'2", sitting in this medium Reno with the headrest raised to its fullest extent. For the back height, it is plenty high enough for me, kind of like the Admiral was. But this medium does feel a little bit narrow for me. I feel like my arms should be somewhere out here, and the seat depth, as you can kind of see from the side profile here, while it's okay, that's not what's really going to bother me. It's more the width is still not ideal. I'd like it to be a little bit longer in the seat depth. But the biggest issue here for me is going to be seat width. For me to put my arms on the armrest center, you can tell my shoulders are scrunched up a little bit. So the large is going to be a little bit wider, and that's going to be more ideal for somebody my size. Chair number 3 is the Stressless View. So the Stressless View is the recliner next to me here in a medium, and the recliner here in a large. Both of these recliners are on a signature base. The View does not have an adjustable headrest. Instead, it has a pillow inside the back of the headrest that you can adjust up and down to change the support for your neck or back of your head. And I can show you what that looks like here. So the View inside the back has a headrest that can be moved up like that, or down all the way here. So very adjustable in terms of the support, but the headrest is not height adjustable. So because the View doesn't have an adjustable headrest, instead has that adjustable pillow, it's a little bit higher back, which makes it appear to be one of our largest chairs. The large, which I'll get out of, you can see here, is a very big looking chair. The seat is appears much wider than the rest of our stressless recliners because it doesn't have a armrest that comes down and covers this gap right here. So it does allow a little bit more space for the width of the recliner. The back is very tall. You can see here that the View has one of our tallest backs, but does have that adjustable pillow inside the headrest. The seat depth on the View is also very deep. because it does have quite a bit of additional padding, especially near the edge of the seat right there. So in terms of one of our largest recliners, the View is certainly up there. If you were a taller and larger individual, this would be a good option. All right, last but certainly not least is the Stressless Magic. The Magic is probably our biggest chair. It does have some of the most amount of padding to it, and if I was to recommend a chair for somebody who just simply asked me, Mike, what is your biggest chair? I tell them the large Magic. That is by far our biggest chair. The headrest is adjustable up and down on both the large, medium, and even the small. I've moved the small off for this video because if you're over 6 foot, the small isn't going to be a good option for you in any scenario. Differences between the large and the medium are going to be largely the seat width and the seat depth. The height of both of these recliners are relatively similar. The large may be slightly taller. However, they're both very similar in terms of height. So I'm seated here in the Stressless Magic Large. The chair has the headrest up all the way, so it is probably higher than I actually need it to go. However, I've raised the headrest up on all of these in the video to give you guys a good idea of how tall each recliner actually is. The Magic is very deep in its seat. It has probably one of the deepest seats of all of our recliners. A lot of padding on the seat and the back, which give it a little bit thicker seat depth there. For somebody my size, between the Magic Medium and Magic Large, I do prefer the large just because the armrests are a little bit further out, which make me feel more comfortable not having to scrunch my shoulders in on a smaller chair. So if you're a little bit broader in the shoulders, the large is probably going to be the better option for you. If you have longer legs, then the large also is going to be the better option. But if you're a lankier person, maybe you don't have very broad shoulders or a narrower frame, then just like any of the other recliners we looked at, the medium is going to be the better option. So those are our 4 largest stressless recliners. Now, if you're between the height of 6 foot and 6'2", there are some other recliners that you'll also find comfortable and will be supportive for the back of your head. However, in this video, we focused on our 4 largest recliners, which would be the Admiral, the Reno, the View, and the Magic. Our next video is likely going to be the same thing, but just for people that are shorter, recommending some recliners that are going to be best for people with smaller bodies. If you guys found this video helpful, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel. We upload videos weekly, mainly centered around stressless recliners. I hope you guys are staying healthy. We'll see you next week.